But there is a bigger issue in Kasoa.
Yeah.
Kasoa is filthy. Yes, Kasoa is very filthy. We have this report filed by our correspondent Akwesi in the area. We bring you the report. You come back. We have a conversation on it. You speak to the authorities that be on how best we can keep Kasoa clean as Accra is being decongested. What is happening in Kasoa as well? Let's check out this report.
This is the district of the Autusenya East Municipality of the Central Region. And sanitation is one of the key challenges confronting this very area here in Kasoa. So currently where we are standing is the Kasoa Apambas terminal. And just as you can see in your shot, this is a heap of rubbish which have been gathered here for several days, and they have not been collected. The stench emanating from this area is very awful, and so we would want to touch base with the transport operators here as well as passengers to find out what they make of this particular situation and what specifically they would want authorities to do so far as the sanitation situation of Kasoa is concerned.
Yeah, bro, hapa enkaboni toilet inagum. What if you feel whatever? And I just so what about Pastor South at the bachelor would in a big war. Now, yet you in a quayum. Private car to meet the border Phoenix, Sinica, Moa, Beitra. Yaway, or to meet the baller, but war. May I catch and so only faithful.
Last year's cholera outbreak, which took 8 lives, remains fresh in residents' memories. Many fear history may repeat itself if nothing is done to address the worsening sanitary conditions.
Passing by to see how unkept Kasoa is very heartbreaking. In fact, right now, if you go under this overhead, it has been meant for a dumping site. And you ask yourself, it has become normal here in Kasoa, and the food we buy are also sold over there. So if any time we have a situation of cholera, those of us living in Kasoa automatically become scared because it's a powerhouse of cholera.
The petty business we have around, people when they come to sell in the night and they don't go home with their rubbish, they just heap it around and the whole place is smelling. We are about hitting the rainy season. And so when you talk about cholera, it's also a big issue. So I don't know, the whole place is messed up.
Senior Bolano adults no hanedies, yen 2 more dear, the Bebano, any 5 no, the Bebechin is more than 5.
Health professionals warn that Kasoa's sanitation problem has reached crisis levels. Akoyo Okuno is calling for stronger enforcement measures to manage waste, particularly in the CBD.
We have located 2 areas that it's been considered. I know that they are playing composing.
Municipal Chief Executive Seth Sabasewonu Banini spoke to ChannelOne News about planned interventions.
One of the things that we have started doing is to vigorously search for places that you can, we must also be thinking about place convenient enough.
So, sorry for that technical challenge. We wanted to bring you the voices of Phyllis Nakoyo, who is the MP for the area, and the MC for the area, but we'll be touching base with them shortly. That is the issue with Kasoa as we speak now, the central business district of Kasoa. One will ask that who is generating the filth, who is supposed to collect the filth, what has become of the situation now. But you can't stay in a community or you can't stay in an area where you are selling and the place is filthy like this. People are passing by, going about their day-to-day activities, bola stacked in polythene bags.
Trash everywhere.
And when it rains, where is this going to go to?
It's going to spread and then go straight into the gutters.
And when it goes into the gutters, what becomes of our houses? You see people like Kujo Sheldon suffering in their homes because we are not able to have better drinks in our areas. The drinks becomes full up. So I think that the situation really has to be fixed.
Yes, it has to be fixed. especially for the fact that we're in the rainy season.
Yeah.
And looking at all the trends and how people have been, crying about the whole thingy, I think it's important that something needs to be done. And it's always easy to blame authorities, but what are the people themselves doing?
Yesterday, when we had a conversation with the Ghana Metro, they stated that what we just saw was at the tip of the iceberg. More rains will come. So if there are city authorities that are supposed to take action, crack the whip. If you would have to go to the marketplaces and ensure that people within the marketplaces are paying for the field to be cleared, so be it.
Exactly.
If it should be that the service providers, that is the sanitation service providers, are not doing their work, just cancel the contract. Terminate the contract, give it to a new person to go ahead and get the job done. Because, see, we can't stay in this for a very long time. This is
because there are so many questions to be asked, but the most important one is who is to be blamed for this?
Well, all of us, because it has to do with behavioral change.
Yeah.
We are not changing. We are still in our old ways of doing things. And mind you, this particular issue, if it's kept like this for a very long time, it becomes like a normal place for like a dumping site. So ideally, you go there and we dump our waste and we move on.
You say it's looking comfortable already.
Yes.
It's looking very
And
comfortable.
that's not the only place. Yeah. I know, like La Paz, the same thing. Around Ablekuma, the same thing. And Kwashiman, I think, the same thing. Major places, and we have refuse dumped at these places. Wow. And we are left like that, and we are all looking on. We are all looking on. But the buck stops with leadership, I keep saying, because if the MMDCEs, like what the Accra mayor has started doing, decongesting Accra, and he's moving together with a task force to show that he's working, I think same can be done by the various MMDCs. You wouldn't want to just sit in your office, cross your leg, or and fold your arms and just command that it should be done. You have to be part of it. If you are not part of it, let's look at what is happening at Kasoa right now. We will try and speak to the MC and try and find out from you actions that are being taken. Yesterday, for instance, we spoke to the MC for Adenta, Esinam, and she stated that they are going to pull down some structures. We saw another action by the Crow MC pull down a shrine yesterday, a shrine under construction, and he says that this is on waterway and it has to go down, and it went down. So if it rains in the area, now where the water will pass, ideally, it's cleared, it will move. But if some action is not taken, we all bear the brunt. And what happened on Sunday, it just rained for 2 to 3 hours, or maximum 4 hours of rain, and we all found wanting.
And it was not even heavy, it was just consistent.
Yes. And we all found wanting. So if it happens that we are not paying attention to these things and we are failing to act as citizens, certainly it's going to affect us. Maybe we are not supposed to be citizens, we're not supposed to be spectators, we are supposed to be citizens, as the former president said. I think the earlier the better. So the regional minister, Linda Okru, has been going around trying to ensure that at least the place will be cleared and all that, and trying to ensure that he was working. But now that he has handed the baton over to the MMDCs, the issue should be done immediately and it should be addressed.
Right. So, but still on that, like on Friday, we talked about 8 people being persecuted in Kasoa for irresponsible waste disposal. And we still have that story on citynewsroom.com. And we'll just go through it a bit before you have a conversation with the reporter. Join us on citynewsroom.com. So the Owutu Senya East Municipal Assembly has prosecuted 8 sanitation offenders. The culprits were arrested for dumping refuse in the central business district of Kasoa, a practice contributing largely to poor sanitation conditions in the area. The arrests were made by an ad hoc task force established by the Assembly to patrol within the municipality, monitor and arrest sanitation offenders. They were subsequently arraigned before the Kasoa Ofako Circuit Court, and fines of up to 1,000 Ghana cedis were slapped against them. I quote, "We have successfully arrested and prosecuted 8 persons for dumping refuse in the CBD. These persons carry their refuse from their houses as far as Aquele and dump them on the CBD, contributing to the sanitation crisis." And this is by the Kasoa MCE, Seth Saba Sewonu Banini, who spoke to Channel One News.
One News. Yeah. So the individuals that were prosecuted, the 8 were further arraigned before the Kasoa Fanko Circuit Court, and the fines up to 1,000 Ghana cedis were slapped against them. I don't think that is even enough. Let's bring you our correspondent in Akwesi Ado, the Central Regional Correspondent. He brought us this report from Kasoa, the filth in the area. Akwesi, good morning. Akwesi Ado, good morning. Well, we are still working around the lines to bring you Akwesi Ado, who is our Central Regional Correspondent, for us to have a conversation on what is happening at Kasoa. Akwesi Ado, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I trust you are doing well.
By grace,
good. So, with the issue at Kasoa concerning the filth, is it only around the station or entire Kasoa market?
Okay, so it's the entire municipality that is Kasoa. Virtually it's a market. So we have 2 main market centers, which are the Kasoa Old Market, situated within the Central Business District. And so that is the area that encompasses the Old Pongpehe, Zongo, Adakope, and then the high tension second bus stop area. And then we have the Kasoa New Market, which is also situated at on the Kasoa Bodiate stretch. And within these areas, it's a similar story. Because right from the bus stop at the Jutat pharmacy, that is at around the Old Market, through to the opposite side of Jutat Hospital, you find this field gathered in heat at the various bus stops. The situation is same with the other side of the road. And it's very worrying because last year, at around October, we had a cholera outbreak here in the municipality. And that outbreak led to the death of about 8 persons. And the sanitation issue here in Kasoa keeps worsening. So residents are raising concerns. They fear that there can be another outbreak of cholera, which may be very more devastating than that which we experienced in last year, October. Last year in October, when the cholera disease broke out in the municipality, all health facilities became completely overwhelmed. The wards became full up, and then authorities had to even mount tents just to cater for people who got affected. The reason we are witnessing what is now being described as a crisis is that for some time now, the company that has been hired to collect waste from the Central Business District, that is Kizum Lion, has not been able to discharge their mandate effectively. So the assembly is now relying on volunteers to collect refuse from the Central Business District. And that particular system isn't working because they do not have that capacity to deal with these large volumes of refuse that are deposited in the Central Business District. And Philip, the rubbish that is kept in the CBD is contributed by 1, the traders around the area, and then 2, residents within the municipality. So, for example, you have someone carrying their refuse from as far as Apele, which is about 2 or 3 kilometers away from the Central Business District, depositing their refuse at the CBD. And it is same as the new market, especially on Wednesday and on Saturday. So what happens is that the Kasoa new market operates on Tuesday and Friday. So every day after a market day, it's really an awful thing to behold at around the new market area. And There is something I term as one life for one boiler. Because at every electricity pole, you would find a huge amount of refuse gathering there. Philip, so this is the situation residents are dealing with here in Kasoa.
Wow.
All right, so let's talk about the issue of cholera. You mentioned that there was an outbreak of cholera last year. So have there been any signs of illnesses right now as we speak, or is it just an issue of what may happen next if this is not taken care of?
This is not an issue of what may happen next, because I think about 3 days ago, I interacted with a municipal health director, Dr. Yeji, and he mentioned to me that currently the health officers here in the municipality are dealing with high numbers of dysentery and other sanitation related diseases. And so it is posing a stigma of what may happen to the municipality. So nothing be done about it.
Right, right. And what how are residents actually reacting to this? Apart from just talking and complaining, are they also organizing cleanups themselves? I mean, if the people designated to do it are not doing it, what are the residents themselves doing for themselves to help themselves?
There's been a number of cleanup exercises in the last month. It keeps happening. We have volunteer groups who have been doing that, and then the municipal assembly, also led by Chef Sabatewuni Bani, have also been organizing something of exciting. But the main problem is that residents would want to see authorities take action. What action do they want authorities to take? If someone is bringing their refuse from their house to deposit them at the ED, compounding the situation, we would want to see authorities take action by arresting these persons and then prosecuting them in order to deter others from also doing so. Because even if the refuse is collected this morning, by noon, you will come back to the same spot to find piece of refuse also gathered at the exact place where you collected your fish in the morning. And so it's like you would have to be engaged in a routine collection of refuse throughout the day. There is no risk for, sanitation workers.
And also, what is the assembly doing about this? Because you said that the service provider that is supposed to collect the refuse is not coming. According to the MC, or if you had an engagement with the MC, is there any arrangement to find out from them why they are not taking the refuse from wherever it is to whatever they need to dispose it of?
Okay, so another aspect of the problem has to do with a final disposal site for the assembly. So what I've been told by the NCA is that currently the municipal assembly doesn't have any site for the disposal of waste that is collected from within the municipality. And so that is what they are currently working on. And this has been a long-standing issue because the Zoom Lion, which is responsible for collecting waste from the CBD, has always complained about them not having a final disposal site. So now the MCA says they are trying to work to find a final disposal site. And then two, I also engaged the MP for the area, Felix Napoyo, and there is a suggestion for additional hands to be employed so that we would have other waste management companies apart from Zoom Lion alone dealing with the waste within the central business district.
I know around that particular place, the Kasoa place or the central business district, some police officers often stand there or they are stationed there. Aren't they there? And if no, which individuals have been stationed there by the assembly to ensure that nobody dumps refuse within the enclave?
So we don't just have police officers stationed at around the CBD. We even have a police station just within the CBD, located just under the overpass. So that is the CBD police station. And they have been taking action. So what the assembly has done now is that they formed a task force. So the task force has the personnel from the police service, from the fire service, other state security agencies, and then some persons from the assembly itself. So what they will be doing is that they will be patrolling within the CBD and even other parts of the municipality. And they will be looking out for persons who deliberately carry their refuse from the house and then deposit them within the CBD. Philip, there's a concerning matter. You may meet someone in Kasoa carrying a suitcase, properly dressed, and you sense this guy is going to the office. He would deposit the suitcase somewhere. You go and look in it, and you still get dressed. So the task force will be dealing with this person. And let me mention that they have already arrested about 8 persons, and then had all of them prosecuted. The Kasoa Prosecutor's Court has issued fines against some of these persons who cases have been concluded. And so the MC has assured that this particular exercise will be sustained in order to serve as a deterrent to others.
Akwesiado, thank you so much for your time, and we are grateful that you joined us and brought us that update from Kasoa Central Business District. It has to do with the filth in the area. It's becoming one too many that individuals are dumping filth or refuse in the area, which is so bad. Chris, that area, I remember very well, we went there to do community forum ahead of the 2024 elections. And like he stated, we just mounted, say, the plate or the canopies close to the police post. There's a police post there. We can ensure that whatever is being done is being dealt with. We will soon be engaging the MC to find out from him what actions he's taking to ensure that at least a central business district in Kasoa becomes clean.
Very important.
At least it becomes clean, because we just don't know why there will be a problem like this, and we can't be easily solved, because if there is filth around that area and people are just bypassing, somebody throws away pure sachet, somebody throws away a polythene bag, somebody throws away a paper, nothing is being done. Gradually, it becomes a very big dumping site within the central business district. And now when the sickness starts coming, we will all be blaming the government, because you think that the government is not doing its work. It's true. The MC or the authorities there are supposed to do their work. But then again, the citizens too, it behoves on us to do it. What stops the market leaders from in the area from ensuring that the right thing is done?
Exactly.
What stops the trader nearby that the right thing is done? If you have refuse in your home and the refuse hasn't been taken, you should find a way that the refuse will be taken. It should be sent to the right place for disposal. But like Akwesi also stated, the Kasoa Township itself, you are battling with a final disposal site. So if you don't have a final disposal site, how then do you push your things there or try and work around getting a permanent place where the refuse can be done? Because Kasoa, I don't know. It's just interesting that we are just having issues with this. Accra is congested, Kasoa is also another place on its own, and we have so on and so forth issues within places. But like it's been stated, the MMDCs must really do their work.
Yes, sir.
So soon we are going to be joined by the MC for Ewutu Senya, so that he would give us his side of the story.
Right, so he's actually on the line now.
Yeah.
We have Setsaba Sewonu Banini, who's the MCE of Ewutu Senya East. Honorable, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so Kasoa is actually at the risk of a public health outbreak due to poor sanitation. What has gone wrong?
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to your cherished listeners. We have a few challenges in Kasoa. Today happens to be the 17th day in office as MC. Upon assuming office, we got to know that the primary contractors of waste management within the central business district. And I must say that the area under review is the central business district. Okay, we realized that the primary contractors, that is Zoom Lion and their workers, were on strike. So on my first day in office, I constituted an emergency team to take care of our sanitation. And so, as part of effort to make sure that what was happening or the rubbish and the garbage we see on the screens now are handled, I would mostly leave office in the evening and then drive straight from work to the central business district, the 5 cardinal entry points of the place, to make sure that those that we have contracted to handle our sanitation issues are actually working and all that. I would mostly leave there around 12 a.m. The workers stay back and then work until 4 a.m. They clear every space. So we realize that between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., people deliberately bring garbage from their household to these points and then dump them in ways that you wouldn't observe. And we also realize that at the initial stages, people, for whatever reasons, whether political or an attempt to sabotage the work that we are doing, would contract bicycles and all that, and then get them to come and take the rubbish at vantage point. This led us to quickly have a meeting with the security agencies and the security heads in Kasoa. And so we put in place an ad hoc task force that has so far arrested some 8 people, prosecuted 4, and then the other 4 are also being processed for it. We realized that the entire constituency or the entire municipal assembly do not have a combustion truck and then a compactor truck on our own, which makes the collection and the management of the waste a bit more difficult, because most of the people that we contract are private individuals who are engaged elsewhere. And so I have used every platform I've got to appeal to the local government minister to help us get one for ourselves. Another major issue that I have come to realize in this 17 days in office happens to be a lack of dumping sites within the area. Ewutu Senya is, or Kasoa, is quite big in land size with population and all that, which makes our rate of refuse generation more high. And having no dumping site here serves as a major problem, because the time it will take you to shuttle one truck from the constituency to 2 constituencies away to use their dumping truck takes about 5 hours to do that. And so upon assuming office, I quickly put together a team that we have gone to look around and found a place that can be used for dumping site should it meet the environmental requirements, and then also should the landowners enter into an agreement with us. We are still in talks with them. I also must say that upon assuming office last week, Thursday, I put together the maiden edition of sanitation dialogue in the history of the municipality. It has never happened. And so we have to write to bring all service providers within our sanitation sphere to a roundtable discussion, the health directorate, the environmental directorate, the security forces, every stakeholder, the market women, the people that ply their trade on the shoulders of the road or in and around the central business district. We brought all these people to a roundtable discussion to brainstorm and discuss the way forward. I must say that every stakeholder was excited to be there, and the resolutions that came out from the dialogue are going to form part of our major action plan to provide lasting solutions to the problem. the sanitation problem we are discussing now is just around the central business district. It has been an age-long canker for the municipality. I personally am a person of action, and I don't want to manage it as it has been done before. We want to deal with this once and for all. Reason why we had brought the maiden sanitation dialogue to stay. We have also had fruitful engagement with the police, immigration, fire, and then prison service, who are operational within our jurisdiction, and then the assembly task force that is working. The 8 people that were prosecuted were caught red-handed, in the act of bringing rubbish. Some of them brought rubbish from their home as far as 1 kilometer back to the central business district. And so I have used any other opportunity I've got to appeal to the people that we cannot continue to live like that. You generate rubbish or refuse from your home, and you think the most easiest place to come and dump it, you could see from the way it's been tied. They carry it on their shoulders. I see they are carrying some goods away. And then when they get there, they watch left and right, no one is around, and they dump it. And so the task force, we are going to collaborate with the security forces to make sure we enhance 24-hour patrol from the place, and then we would be able to bring all the culprits to their hand. One major issue that has been a headache, and we are handling it, is the pickup site. I had a meeting with the regional health directorate for Central Region on the issue, and he said that because of the rapid population growth in Kasoa, all the land the earmark for pickup points, that is where we can bring skip cans and all that within the area, have all been encroached upon. And so one of the things that have taxed the works department and then the planning department of the assembly is for us, we are on ground, it's for us to look for places, private places that we can enter into agreement with and acquire those places so that we can bring the skip cans or the boiler containers to the places to give solution to the household people to be put there. And then we, as an assembly, will make sure that as and when it gets full, we quickly lift it and then we take it to the dumping site. And so I must say that, indeed, the report says that we are on the verge of doing that. But I must say, this 17 days in office, majority of our effort has been channeled through getting this canker done, and the situation is very largely under control.
So you've made mention of a number of things that you are trying to do, but I want to ask you for timelines. Very important, because the refuse we are seeing currently at the Central Business District, is there any plan that is going to be collected today, tomorrow, or by close of this week? Is there any plan like that?
What you are seeing now, it's not a current issue. I could send you footages of cleaning that was done yesterday evening. Okay, I get daily briefings like that. If we had spoken earlier, I would have sent you footages of what was done as of yesterday. Okay, what you are seeing there are previous shots that your people, probably your reporters, okay, gave to you. If not so, I would have given you footages. These are previous, that is the early stages or before I came into office. We have lasting plans, lasting solutions to that. For instance, the dumping sites, we've had first engagement with, the people that own the place. And we have scheduled other engagements to get them on board so that we can have the negotiations, enter into agreement with them, and then we can go on. I have sent some footages to your producer, okay, before and after. That was last night, okay. But it looks like before we could finish talking, the people moving gently, and then they damn that. That is why the task force is in section to apprehend the people. I must say that there has been considerable improvements in the situation compared to the first day I assumed office, and then now there has been considerable improvement. In fact, when I close from work, I leave office, I come very early, like 7:30. I leave office by 7:30 p.m. Yesterday, for instance, I left office around 8 p.m. Okay, when I leave, I just move straight to the central business district. Sometimes I disguise myself. I don't use the official car. I pick up a taxi or I pick up another car, and then I drive to observe the situation for myself and get first-hand information. And so I must say that we have done considerable work in that. I have sent some footages to your producer, if you can show that. That was yesterday, and the cleaning that we have done. The
Okay,
situation
so
is very much
and
under
also
control.
the sustainability is very important, because though the exercise will start, someone may say, isn't this a 9-day wonder? What is the level of ensuring that this thing that you are doing is sustained so that it can travel for a very long time, and that central business district becomes a very clean place?
Issues that borders on our health cannot be termed as a 9-day wonder. I personally am an urban development student at the master's level. I am an urbanist. I understand the complications of this. And so having the opportunity to inform decisions and policies that will transform our society, I wouldn't want to tackle it from a 9-day wonder. If you listen carefully, all the things that I've highlighted are issues that are going to provide lasting solutions to this and not manage it. I actually visited the dumping site in less than 7 days in office, but there has been previous administration, nothing was done. I could also send you footages of the dumping sites that I visited. I have also said that we are having conversations with the people, okay, the works department, the engineers in the assembly. We are actually having conversations with people to acquire either pieces of land within the area, so that all the refuse that are being generated from the house, we could have a pickup point, bring cans to the place, and then we can be able to move them as and when they come up. These are sustainable ways of doing that. We also have a standing force, a task force in place that is making sure that perpetrators or people that think they can still do that by easy way, or they may want to create an impression of sabotaging our work, all these people would also be apprehended. These are some of the measures that we are using to bring the situation under control and make sure that the central business district is freed of all these all these menaces that we are currently seeing. I have just forwarded some footages to you as to the lasting dumping site that we are talking about.
Right.
We have also started engaging private developers who use modern technology to be able to generate manure, provide work for people to also come in, because of our size and the rate of generation, we stand a chance to make financial gains when we invest properly. And all those events have started, which we are bringing it under control.
Right. We've seen some of the footage. Well done. And I didn't think I'm sure you didn't expect this for your first 17 days. But yes, this is a lot to handle for your first 17 days. But anyway, congratulations on that. I mean, you're doing what you've got to do. And it seems like you have a lot. And we just want to wish you good luck and more grease on your elbow. But then again, what steps is the Assembly taking right now to prevent the outbreak of cholera? Are you having conversations with the people? Do they know how important it is to, actually keep the environment clean before we fall into another outbreak, especially from that area? And yeah, it will be hard to deal with. So what are you doing right now?
Yes, so we have had public education from the environmental health department of the assembly. We have had sustained educational level that is running through. And then also each time at the dialogue, we brought in the district director of health and then the environmental health directorate to speak extensively on this issue. That is at the dialogue level that was carried out. But on field, myself the environmental health director, we have carried out this sustained energy, not just around the central business district, but then in the adjoining homes that are around the central business district. We are encouraging people to know that, last year there was a cholera outbreak that took 8 lives from Kasoa. And so we are using that as a benchmark to educate our people and also to bring them to attention. You see, we don't want to have anything escalated. And so we try to highlight them. And I wanted to even tie in the projects that we are doing to decongest the central business district, which has improved. Yesterday, if you live around Kasoa, if you drive around Kasoa, you know that the traders are now moving away from the tarred road, because I've had sustained meetings with them, about 3 different meetings with their heads in the office. And then we have come to a consensus in the presence of the law enforcers and the task force commander. And so yesterday, if you went to Kasoa, you would have seen that everyone is moving away from the tarred road. And so before we come in to move on grounds with the task force, that is being done. And everything is about leadership. Everything is about leadership, getting the direction, and then getting people along and working together. We've been using the tools of consultations, consensus building, and all that to overcome this menace. I've also sent some footages to your producer that you can show on my night duty shift at the Central Business District whenever I go there. So this, what is currently showing now is before. You would see the other images after we have collected and all that. You will see all those things. We are committing resources to this. We are committing men to it. We are committing time to it. And I can assure you that with the cooperation of all stakeholders here, we will be able to overcome this. And I must say, this morning before your call came in, I've had people that are approaching me and then trying to get us to be lenient on the people. There are 4 people now that will be taken to the court. This is what we are trying to tell our people. The decisions that would make us move forward are not pleasant to the ears, but they are the very decisions that will give us the desired result. Okay, so people must not commit the crime and think maybe because they know people in authority, they know myself, they know other people around the assembly, other people who could call the shot, they could just come and then commit the wrong and then come and plead. No, we have laws in this country, and the laws, everyone has a duty to respect the law. Everyone has to do that. And so people that are doing stuff that will not bring the progress, when they are apprehended, we would watch the law to take its course. Some people must be used to serve as deterrents, because this canker, if it explodes, all of us who have ourselves indicted in it. So we are using this big opportunity. I'm using this big opportunity to appeal to everyone living in Kasoa, okay, and around the central business district, to desist from acts that will not bring us. You see, Kasoa is very big, but you see that particular act around the central business district, that small central business alone, is making the entire Kasoa look dirty. It's making the entire Kasoa look dirty. And the area, you see, because that place is the focal point of Kasoa, it looks like we make a generalization that affects the entire Kasoa. But it's not true. Kasoa is bigger than the central business district. And we can allow just about 200 people doing their business and causing us trouble to continue to make us lose the integrity of Kasoa. That is one thing that we are going to move in. And we want them to cooperate with us. We have invited heads of various groups, representatives from the traditional authorities, representatives from the law enforcers, representatives of the market women, the various associations around. Anyone that is a stakeholder in this particular menace, we are ready to make sure that we tackle the issue head on.
Good. Mr. Banini, before you go, Sunday's rains, did you have some communities in the Ewutu-Senya East municipality getting flooded?
Yes, thank you very much. On Sunday, myself and then my MP, or our MP, Honorable Dr. Phyllis Nakoyo Okuno, we were out in the rains right from 4 p.m. until 12:30 a.m. when we left and then came home. There are several places that got flooded. There were several places that were submerged. And so we visited each and every site in the rain, to provide relief services and then to provide evacuation services to the people. There are places like Gao Line, Jomes, Pomote. The place were totally submerged in the presence of our new NADMO director, Nash Nyadi, who was seen. If you watch the video, you could see him in the water, moving people away. The MP herself was there, myself as the MC, who were there. Places around Dokuche Kope, they were there. At Dokuche Kope and even Gaona, we realized that there is a river we call Kudu River. It has a stream downstream towards the sea. Along this, it's a huge river. People have built very close to the banks of the place. Less than 20 meters away, we have houses there, which even compromises the buffers principle of a project. And I don't think that previous administration or engineers give them approval for that. People have just encroached and built haphazardly. There are even no community drains around that place because it's not been planned like that. And so when the water even comes, the reversal water comes to the settlement there, and it doesn't even move until the main drain submerges. This one doesn't move in. We also realize that at Iron City, Virgin Kids, upstream, the whole place, the whole drain is wide. Coming down, people have built and closed up a certain channel of the water, and so the water comes, hits back, and then moves back, hits the wall, and then moves back. In the moving back, that's where it enters the shops, the rooms of people, and all that. We gave them sensitization. As I speak with you now, the works department yesterday, we deployed them to go and do a complete assessment of the place, so that if need be that we have to demolish the place and then make way for the water to come, we will do that. As I speak with you, the MP has made arrangements for a number of excavators to be deployed into the various channels of the drain. A number of them because the span of the river is high, it is very lengthy. And so if we use one excavator, it will take us more time. So we'll divide the span, put one excavator, put another one, put another, so that they can be working concurrently to make sure that every dredging that we have to do to distill the drains, we do that.
Good.
We also realize that there were people that had built in waterways, clear waterways,
so
have their fence there.
So finally, before we let you go, did you have any casualties, any deaths, or people?
Fortunately, by the grace of God, we didn't have any casualty. At Iron City, a woman almost got drowned, but by the timely intervention of the community people, they were able to rescue her. So before we got there, she was rescued and she's safe. But in a whole, about 500 people got directly affected. Some buildings like that, which we are looking at how to provide some relief services to them. We have spoken to NADMO to do a comprehensive assessment of what is happening so that we can relay the information to the regional level. So at the moment, the NADMO store here or the warehouse here within the assembly, we don't have anything. So we have quickly made calls to the regional and then the national level. Before we started this interview, I was having a conversation with the regional director who had to enter a meeting, and so we'll continue the conversation here. The district director of NADMO just left my office for that, and we are looking at how to provide relief services. On Sunday, during the rains, we had to look for temporary accommodation for people, relocate them to churches and then mosques where they could get temporary shelter to keep their places in. But we made them understand when we got there that they have to cooperate with us because some of the buildings will have to be brought down.
Okay, Mr. Banini.
Some of the places they would have to move away from.
Point well made, said Banini. Thank you so much for your time. We are grateful that at least you give us the audience and you've spoken to us extensively about the sanitation situation at the CBD, at Kasoa, and also the flood situation on Sunday in the area. Yes.